Hello again. For our third project, we would like to introduce you to an online block coding program called Scratch. We have used Scratch for a number of projects in our school, but the one we'd like to share with you today is how we have used Scratch to respond to an acknowledgement of country for our local Indigenous group. An acknowledgement of country is where we thank and pay respect to the local Aboriginal inhabitants of the land. So this is Scratch. I've just opened it up in Chrome. Scratch was actually developed by MIT, which is pretty interesting. So as I scroll down the main page, you can see it's got popular projects at the moment, popular users who are making lots of different projects, what the community is loving. As you can see, it says what the community is remixing. So on Scratch, you can actually go in and see some projects that other users have created, and you can actually open them and edit them yourself, which is very cool. So up here where my cursor is, it says create. This is where we click when we want to create our own project. So this is the screen it will take you to. As I scroll down the side, you can see there's many options for different coding blocks. And all these different colors down the side indicate the different types of coding blocks and how they've been grouped together. So if I want to start a coding sequence, I'm just going to close the tutorial video. I might just click on the very first one. On the top left, it says when the green flag is clicked. So that's indicating the start of the code. So if I just go up to here, I'm just going to drag this one in. I'm just going to get my sprite to say hello, and it's going to say hello for 10 seconds. So as I click the green flag, you can see hello has popped up on my sprite. So obviously sprite is referring to the character where I've just clicked. Now I can change my sprite. I can create my own custom one. I can let the program generate one for me, or I can upload one from the web. I can actually do the same for a background. I can choose a background, create my own custom background, or upload an image from the internet, which is very interesting. So for example, if I go into background or backdrop, these are the different options available to me. At the top, they've all been grouped into different categories. So for example, I might just scroll down. I'm going to click this one, Colourful City, and here it appears on my screen. Okay, I can click on my sprite and move it around. Okay, and actually I can try and get it to interact with the background. So I might even try and get my sprite to walk across the road at the bottom. So I'm going to drag my sprite back here at the start of the road. I'm going to click the green flag. Now it's still saying hello because I've left that in the sequence. So I actually don't want it to say hello anymore. So I'm going to break the code apart, click on hello. I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so I'm going to place my sprite where I want it to glide to, as I've done, and the numbers changed on my coding block. So I've dragged that across. I'm going to move my sprite back. And as you can see, as I click the green flag, the sprite has moved where I wanted it to. So it's really interesting. I can click on this second tab as well, and I can customize my sprite a little bit more. I can also play with the sounds that are already preloaded into Scratch. So there's a meow sound. I can actually use that, or I can create my own sounds as well to really personalize my project. So I'm just going to jump back to the main home page now. So that was the Create tab that we were just in. So I can actually also click on Explore. So Explore will show me other projects that other users have made. And again, they've divided them all up into categories up the top. So as I scroll down, these might be a mixture of games that other people have made as well. But right now I'm going to click on Tutorials. And these are other users actually explaining how I can do different things in Scratch. So we'll be using tutorials later, so this is where we will come. So as you can see, here are a few of the popular tutorials. These are some of the tutorials we actually show to our students, and we get them to copy as well. You can see there's a few games here, ones they use to make music, creating stories as well. So the tutorials are, they cover quite a large range, which is really good. So even if I click tutorial up the top, it's still going to take me to a page where there are many more different options. Okay, so the great thing about Scratch is that the possibilities really are endless. There are so many cool things you can do on Scratch. So yeah, I'm just scrolling through again. You can really see lots of games, animations. It's really interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the home. The fourth tab across was about. So this is just a bit of information about Scratch. So if there's any information you want to share with parents about Scratch, or any information for educators as well, this is the page we come to scroll down. You can see Scratch is used around the world, and it does translate into 150 different languages, which is very helpful as well. So this is a really good page to come to if you'd like to investigate more and do some further research for yourself, which is wonderful. So I'll go back up to the top now. Something else I should mention is obviously you don't need an account to use Scratch, but if you did want to save your projects for future use, you would join Scratch, create a free account, and all your creations are obviously stored and saved for you to come back to in the future. So now, just for a bit of fun, I'd like to show you one of the tutorial videos we made for our students to use as they were getting to know Scratch. We developed a number of tutorial videos for our students to use during remote learning this year, or when they were learning virtually at home. The tutorial videos were always a lot of fun and the kids loved them. Here's a look at our basic tutorial clip, getting started with Scratch.
Video tutorials with Mr. Pattison.
And Miss Sutherland.
Yeah. Yeah.
Giving you another tutorial. So once you're at Google, you spell Scratch, like to scratch your arm, then you press enter. You'll notice in here that the first thing that comes up is scratch.mit.edu. That's what you click. When you get in, you do not need to sign in. Mine automatically signs in, but you don't need to have a password. In this program, you have all the codes to the left, where you can see my mouse. You put those into the middle, where you can see my mouse. And then that makes the character in this program, called the sprite, do something. So for example, we're going to use the cat that's already here. Wherever I move the cat, it will change the location on these little blue codes. Now we're looking at glide. So if I put glide, that is saying no matter where I am in the screen, the cat will move to that spot. I'll show you. I move it back. I click the code. It goes to there. I'll try up above. It goes to there again. Now we want it to properly work when we press the green flag, which is here. So I know that when I press it, the cat's going to move there. I'm going to move it over there. I'm going to go back to the blue code because those are the movements. And I'm going to take the glide. Now that means my cat's going to move to 2 spots. Let's see what happens when I press the green flag and the code runs. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. This is so cool and powerful. I'm going to move my cat down here. And I'm going to add a third one. What do you think will happen when I press the green flag? Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Let's try and make a custom one. So I'm going to go down here to the garbage. Bye-bye, cat. And then I'm going to go into here. For some reason, my cat's not leaving because my computer is very laggy. Now, I can pick any different sprites. I'm going to scroll down to the jellyfish. Now I have a jellyfish. I can move my jellyfish anywhere I want on the screen. I tried to move it and it didn't move right away. That's because the computer sometimes has to think about its moves. I just went to a backdrop. I'll show you again, but I want to have a background. I'll scroll all the way down, underwater. So there's these two here. I like this one. So now my jellyfish is underwater. I'm going to go back to control. Oops, wrong one. It was in events. I'm looking for the green flag. Now we want to make our jellyfish move around in our scene. I come back here. That's glide. I bring that. When I press the green flag, it didn't move because I told it to glide where it is. See, I'll move it over and it goes back. Wherever I put the jellyfish, the little code changes. So I'm gonna make mine just do a triangle and then see if it works. My coding skills are strong. If I wanted to keep doing that, I can go down to control and you'll see one here says forever. So instead of having to press the green flag every time, it now, when I press the green flag forever, it will go to those spots. Let's check it out. Awesome. I'm gonna press stop. Next pro tip. Make sure that every time you add new code that you are testing out if it works so that there are no glitches. Now, it's your turn. You can pick any backdrop, which is here, any characters you want, and if you're really tricky, you can make them do some cool things. Just reiterate, which is a very fancy word for repeat. The blue ones are move, so I want to work on the glide. If I finish early, maybe I could put a degrees one in here and see what happens. Let's see. Oh, that's for you to find out. Hope you have fun, explore, and don't worry if it doesn't work. Oh, what did I forget? It's screenshot time. So I have a Mac, which just means an Apple computer. On mine, I press Shift, I hold it down, Command, I hold it down, 4. And you'll see that little target comes up. Then I place that target where I want to take my picture. I press the mouse and I hold it down. You see how that gray box comes up? That tells me when I let go, that whole area will be a picture. Oh, and you can see it down here at the bottom. That's my screenshot. It's right there. Once I have it, I can go to edit and it's gonna ask me if I want to, oops, wrong one. It's going to ask me where I want to put, oops, it was file, save as, and then I'm gonna click that button. For me, I'm going to save it onto my desktop in my folder Nick. So my wife doesn't get mad, so I don't have a messy desktop full of school stuff. When I'm done, I press done, save, too easy. That's the file that you submit. On your computer, you may have a different type of screenshot. On mine, I'll show you as well. You can press Shift, Command 5, and it did this weird thing. This is called a screen record, and it's currently what I'm doing. I can move it so that it's just what I want to see, and I can talk and do anything. And then when I'm done, I press stop. But I never press start anyways. Tricked you. So have lots of fun, explore. If it doesn't work, it's okay. We're just meant to be learning about Scratch. Toodaloo!
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. It's also worth noting that Scratch can be translated into many different languages once you've opened up a new project. Now that we all know how to find and use Scratch, let's explore one of the ways we've used it at our school to support learning. I'll first begin by giving you a brief background of the project. We asked 2 of our senior students to develop a short clip that acknowledges the Indigenous inhabitants of the land. This clip covered 4 key areas: the land, water, stars, and our native animals. For the project, other senior students were asked to respond to this clip using Scratch to create their own response. They created their own custom sprite, custom background that focused on one of these key areas: land, water, stars, or animals. I'd like to now show you the clip that our senior students made for our acknowledgement of country. Again, this is the clip the other senior students were asked to respond to.
Hi, my name's Sienna and this is
Marie.
We are from Tally Allen Primary School. We would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri elders past, present and emerging.
We would like to acknowledge the land as it is the foundation of all life forms.
We acknowledge all the animals, small and big.
We would like to acknowledge our water as it flows through the land and our bodies providing life.
I'd like to acknowledge the stars that have no beginning or end and contain all the knowledge and history of the universe. We would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people
And their role as guardians of the knowledge
and the legacy of the land, water, animals, and stars.
from the past, present, and emerging.
So at this point, our students had seen the clip a few times and could now choose one or more of the key aspects identified in the clip and create their own response that demonstrates their understanding. Let me show you a few examples.
Hi.
Hi.
So, what did you need to do for this project?
So we had to create a project on Scratch. We used backdrops and like a sprite to acknowledge the land, the water, the animals, and the stars. It was a fun project, and we got to remember that the people before us were really important to us.
Explain what you came up with.
I did the stars. So what I did is I made the sprite. It was a normal sprite, the cat. I made it move, and I put the backdrop as the galaxy backdrop. I made it say I acknowledge the stars, and I even did a recording of me saying it, so so it felt like the sprite was actually saying it.
Okay. What was important about this project?
The important part was to remember that the people before us were the most important, because they helped us live on this beautiful island.
Okay. What did you like about this project?
I really liked using the backdrop and the sprite. They were really fun, and coding the sprite to talk and say stuff was the best part out of it.
Thank you.
So if we take a look at Sachin's project, I've just opened Scratch and I've searched his username, so I'm able to find his project. If I just select C inside, I'm actually able to view all the different coding blocks he's used. Now Sachin has actually selected 3 different events to start off his animation. So as you can see, when the green flag is clicked, the sprite has been coded to say something, and he's also used the option when the S button on the keyboard is selected, the sprite moves one direction, and when the W is selected, it moves another direction.
Hi.
Hello.
So, what did you need to do for this project?
Our STEM teachers asked us to create a project for the acknowledgement of the country that we live in. And we had to use Scratch to create a project, and we had to use the acknowledgements, the water, the Wurundjeri people, the land, the animals, and the stars, and we had to create a project.
Explain what you came up with.
So there's something called backdrop, which we had to use. It depends on what the sprite was saying. Say it was saying I acknowledge the stars, then I would do like a space backdrop.
What was important about this project?
It's to know that the people who earned this country before us were like important, and to acknowledge them.
What did you like about this project?
I liked using the backdrop and the sprite to acknowledge, to express what I was thinking.
Thank you.
So let's now take a look at Medha's creation. So I've opened Scratch and I've searched her username because she's published her project to Scratch. And I can just select C inside because I want to take a closer look at the specific coding block she's used. Now, as you can see, she's used quite a variety of coding blocks from the looks and sound categories on the side. She's included text, she's included recording, she's included sprite, Costume changes as well. So if you look closely, the sprite changes its position, and obviously she's got the backdrop to switch as well. The really interesting thing with Medha's project, as I said before, is that as the text appears and changes for each backdrop, she's got it recording her voice as well. An extension we used for this project was having students use the concepts from the acknowledgement and create their own version that stems from their own personal culture or identity. Right now, our students are currently working on creating animations and telling stories about themselves that explain and showcase a number of features regarding their own identity, values, beliefs, and behaviours. So, as you can see, Scratch is a great learning tool and can be used for and applied to many subject areas across the curriculum. For example, Scratch could be a fun way for both teachers and students to represent and explain scientific concepts. Students can produce an animated film or design and animate their own stories with different potential endings and outcomes. Students can also create their own video games and incorporate educational components such as solving critical thinking problems or solving maths problems. In essence, teachers can use Scratch to teach students just about any coding concept or element of computational thinking. It's a great and easy tool for teachers to use to determine whether students have grasped the main concept of the lesson and to what depth, by having them form their own response. And now it's your turn to explore Scratch. Open up Scratch on your device and complete one of the given tutorials by going into the second tab labelled Ideas. As you complete the tutorial, have a think about how this task relates to other subject areas within the curriculum. I encourage you to explore and find ways to adapt or extend the task for your students. Thanks everyone. So, how did it go? How did your tutorial relate to other subject areas across the curriculum? How could you potentially adapt or extend this task? I do suggest exploring other ways educators have used Scratch in their classroom, and I do hope you'll be amazed by the artists, musicians, storytellers, gamers, and critical thinkers in your class.